Hi folks, Mr. Coleman here. Just wanted to give you some insights on your self-assessment project due by June 1st. Okay, so now you have the assignment in classroom. It's broken up into different sections. I want you to work on it at your leisure over the next few months, but don't forget that this is something that you need to be working on, and I'd prefer that you not wait until the last minute. Okay. So when we're looking at the self-assessment, the first section asks you some questions about your academics, like what have you accomplished? What are your academic strengths? Do you have special circumstances? I'll say this multiple times, but the goal is always to be specific. Talk about specific accomplishments that you've had, specific projects that you've worked on that you're proud of, specific strengths. Don't use language that I would hear everybody say, like, I'm hardworking, right? Or I'm dedicated. Be creative and really think about what sets you apart academically. Your special circumstances, that section is super important for you to give me some insight. If you've had any illness, if you've battled any mental health issues, if you've had any attendance issues, or if you realize that your grades dipped in a content area or during one semester for whatever reason, talk about that and explain specifically what happened and what you learned from it. That's a theme. With a lot of these questions, it's about what you learned and how you grew, how you changed. In the extracurricular section, with each of the activities, please just give me like a 1 or 2 sentence descriptor of the actual activity as well as what you did. It doesn't have to be complicated, but if you were, for example, in Tea Club, well, talk to me about what did you do, right? And what was your role in the club if you had a formal leadership role? It's not required. Just talk to me about what you did. I do want you to pick the activity that was most meaningful to you, and then ideally tell me a little story about why. Like, which activity was important, meaningful to you, and why, right? Again, I'm trying to get a sense of what that meant to you and what that showcases about you, your personality, your goals, your thought process, okay? Your work experience is pretty straightforward. Just break out the job and what were you doing, where were you working, your specific role, when you worked there, was it during the summer, before junior year, etc., and then how frequently, like how many hours a week do you work, etc. The question about how are you different as a result of the activity or work experience you have, that's just about impact. How did doing that activity, working that job, etc., doing that service, well, how did it change you? What did you learn? How is your life different, okay? When it gets to family responsibilities, this is a great opportunity for those of you who do take care of perhaps an older adult or older adults in your family, or perhaps you are caretaking for your siblings, etc. That is enrichment, and colleges look at that as something that shows a great deal of grit, tenacity, your hard work, your work ethic, and your ability to juggle multiple responsibilities. So if you do have some sort of responsibility in your household, please share out exactly what that is. In the personal section, it's going to ask you about whether or not you're on free or reduced lunch. Yes, in Chicago Public Schools, all students receive free breakfast and free lunch, but based on your family's socioeconomic status, do you qualify for free or reduced lunch at the federal level? If you don't know, that's fine. You can always reach out to me, and I can tell you, because I have access to that information. Students, just as a reminder, students who do qualify for free reduced lunch are eligible for fee waivers for the SAT and AZT and applications cost, college application cost as well. We'll talk more about that later, not in this video. Be very clear on whether or not you're a first-generation student, i.e. you are in the first generation of your family to potentially go to and complete a 4-year college degree. If one of your parents went and they didn't complete the degree, you can still be considered first generation, right? If the parents that you live with the majority of the time didn't complete a 4-year degree, you can consider yourself first generation. Totally cool. And let me know if you have any questions on that. There's the question about the risk that you took or a moral dilemma that you faced. Again, that's about give me a story, be clear on like what the issue or circumstances were, and what you learned, what impact those had on you. A lot of these questions, like what's most surprising about your personality and interests, what would admissions officers miss about you, what sets you apart. These are all questions about really what makes you unique and special. I mean, you see me here in my unicorn horn, you know I have this whole bit about unicorns and embracing what makes you special and unique. That's what the self-assessment's about. I don't want your self-assessment to sound like everybody else. Tell me about you, your experiences, your story. That's what colleges and universities and potential employers are gonna ask you to do. What makes you special? What sets you apart, right? I want you thinking critically as you complete your self-assessment about what that means for you. That might be very difficult to do. You may not be asked that type of question or those type of questions very often, but as we move toward the college application process, you're gonna have to write a lot of different essays that are asking you really about your experiences or your thought process. And really it's about showcasing who you are and what sets you apart. I know you're special. I know you're different and unique. Can you articulate that in a meaningful way? That's what this is about at this stage. There's the question about what you've learned from me. Well, be clear. If there's anything that I've shared with you or talked to you about, either one-on-one or in seminar, that you've learned from me, that's very helpful to give me a sense of, well, what's the impact I've had on you? And how have you experienced me in our working alliance? That would be really helpful insight for me. In the college section, it's pretty straightforward. If there are any struggles or obstacles that you feel you might face, such as financial aid, etc., or being away from home, or the academic rigor, or any sort of social, emotional, or personal issues that you might face, talk to me about that. That's helpful as I craft your letter and help college and universities understand what resources and supports you may need. And then that last section is the out of the box section. It's really your chance to show your creativity. When it comes to an app you would create, or your self-titled album, or if you were a character from fiction, or the name of your autobiography. Really, this is all just about me learning more about you and your personality, how you see yourself, how you understand yourself as different and unique. With all these questions, each question doesn't have to be a page in length. Your answer doesn't have to be a page in length, but just answer the question clearly, as succinctly as you can, and give me clear detail on stories or skills or impact and what you've learned from your time in high school and what you're learning about yourself. All right? I think that's enough for now. Again, this isn't due until June 1st. You can feel free to continue working on it. You don't have to submit it to me until you feel like it's ready to go by June 1st. And then you can always email me even after June 1st, after you submitted it, to say, hey, Mr. Coleman, there's something I'd like to change. And I can always go in and unlock it for you too. That's pretty easy. Great. All right. I hope that you will have a wonderful, restful weekend and continue to take time for yourself and do what's meaningful for you and connect with the people and the activities that are most important to you. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. All right. Bye, folks.